Hi guys, and welcome to Motor Mavericks. Today we're going to be looking at my URS4. I'm going to break down what damage was done to the motor and why I had to pull it, and how hard it was for me to find a replacement motor for this that didn't break the bank. It's very hard to find these motors, and when I get the next one, I'm going to make sure it's bulletproof and reliability. And then there's a couple other things I'm going to go through that needs to be done to the car. But for now, let's look at what damage was done to the motor and why it came out. Next thing I'm going to do is jack up the back and get to work. Swap in the rims, and go from there. Just gonna get a wash down while she's in the air. Wash out underneath it so I have a bit of a clean workspace. Like my buddy said, a little bit every day goes a long way. Alright, gotta pull this guy out. Do a bit of a refresher. The head should be good on this one, but my bottom is the problem. So, gotta get to work. Even though I was eager to get to work on this car, it sat for a while just because I was doing a lot of 12 to 14 hour days at work and just didn't have the time or energy to get to it. 4 years to be exact. The reason why the car is here is because I had a loss of power and engine knock one day while driving the car, and I immediately pulled over, and while digging through the grapevines and asking around, everyone told me I had a spun engine bearing. So lo and behold, right off the bat, you can see from this cylinder on the very right here, we have some contact on the valves. Turbo's looking pretty healthy on that Triple K. And here is a time lapse of me ripping through this motor. As you can see here, this is the front of the motor you're seeing. As I start to take off a couple things on the intake side, here I am starting to take off the power steering pump, or the pulley for the power steering pump, to get to the AC compressor bracket. And I have a little bit of help from Carl while they are cleaning the floor of the shop. And as I turn to the side, I'm taking off the bolts for that AC compressor finally, it looks like. Getting back to the little bits and pieces. I think I just took off the thermostat. And then here I am taking off the motor mount as I go on to take off some of the stuff on the front of the motor there. And I am taking off the chain I used to lift this onto this working bench. And I'm taking off the injectors, it looked like it was there or something, or no, that was a coolant pipe, sorry. And I take off the rest of the PCV elements, get into the bear block as I organize my bolts and different pieces that come off there. And here I come to take off the flywheel. Making sure I take off everything nice and slowly and don't damage anything. Taking out the rest of the elements in the front of the motor. Now to get the crank bolt off so I could get the harmonic balancer off. There it goes. And Michael helps me flip the motor over at some point so I can get to the oil pan. Here he goes. Thanks for that help, buddy. Alright, go taking off the oil pan to get to the crank and the piston rods. Taking some documentation of what I see there. And then I'm back to it. Here comes Abraham to inspect and see what my progress is. And I do have to thank him for all his help through this and understanding what my limitations are with the damaged motor. And here we go. The damaged crank out of the engine. As you can see, that scarred up crank bearing there. As the others look nice and shiny. All look fine, except for that guy. Look at that. And look at those. Those are nice and smooth. But that guy. And that guy. That's the main one right there. Look at how that piston ring just chewed itself up with the bearing. Just barely anything left. Bearing's so thin, it's ridiculous. Brittle. Almost like paper. But yep, that's the result of spun engine bearing. And this is the engine bay at the current moment, and clearly there's some cleaning up to do in here with all these wires and stuff just hanging around. And I can also probably get a newer rad, but yeah, gotta make that thing look a little bit more fresh. Maybe even that radiator, yeah, for sure, with all that rust. Thank you for tuning in and watching my journey turning apart this motor. It was quite the endeavor. I didn't think the damage would be so bad, but Abraham is telling me I would need a new crank if I want to keep this block. So I went ahead and sourced a new motor, and it will be coming. Well, it's just need to finish paying for it. That's all. It's just on standby, waiting for me to just pick it up, refresh it, like, you know, change the bearings and some other components to refreshen it up and slap it into my car. But in the next couple of months, I will be tearing apart the engine bay and just freshening up things and making it look nice and neat. When I do get the motor, it will be all done by then. I could just drop it in and I won't be swamped with trying to refresh the engine bay and make it look all nice and clean. Now that's the sound of what I wanted my car to sound like. Jesus, that IMSA GTO car was just an absolute beast. Okay, it took these American V8s that they all love, the Camaros, the Corvette, the Cougars, back in the early 80s, 90s, and just took them to school. You know, if it wasn't for a blown engine or missed race, I think they would have won that year before being banned completely from IMSA racing. So, but if you want to see me go around the Hockenheimring with this car, and I also took it around a couple tracks in Forza, check out this video. And if you want to see any of my other content, check out this video. I don't even know where to point anymore. It's gonna be one of these videos that's gonna be the next. Just click it, check it out.